The biggest reason why you're struggling with creating content is not because you're not good enough or because you are too busy. It's simply because you are struggling with finishing the projects that you start. What is up? My name is Mac. I'm a videographer and video editor, and I spend a lot of time creating content for other people and myself. If you're an artist, your creative process might look something like this. When you start, you think that this is awesome. Then you realize that this is tricky. You continue thinking this is shit. You start telling yourself that I am shit. Then you realize this might be okay. And then the final stage, you realize that this is actually awesome and you need to finish your project. And the problem typically occurs between stage 4 and 5, going from I am shit to realizing that this might be okay. Because without a change in mindset, you are not going to want to finish this project, and that is why you are struggling with creating content. This is my kitten Mowgli, and she's crazy, and you'll probably see her because she is never still. Now, before I explain further, let's dive into each of the stages of the creative process and see how they affect us. If you're like me, you get ideas all the time. That is not the problem. I think the reason why we come up with ideas often is because we are constantly inspired by the things around us, whether that is the movie we just watched, the potential of creating whatever we want in today's era of technology, or just the life we live. As soon as I come up with an idea, I write it down. That could be in my Notion app or my Notes app. It's crucial to write it down because you might forget. This is one of the best parts of the creative process because we feel very motivated in this stage. It boosts our confidence because we are imagining the potential that this idea has. Without this first stage, you will not be able to script, film, or edit, so it is very crucial to have a strong idea that serves as the foundation of your film. I hate the word idea. Idea. I can't say it. It's just a tongue twister for me. English is also not my first language. The next stage is scripting, and if you have a solid idea, then scripting shouldn't be too hard. Scripting is actually one of my favorite parts because I genuinely like to write. I see it as a way to move all the ideas and thoughts I have in here onto paper. I try to not overthink it. I literally write it as I would say it out loud. I say slang, I say cuss words. I don't care too much if it's not grammatically correct. My goal is just to get my point across, to bring value to other people, and to stay authentic. If you really struggle with scripting, you can always use ChatGPT. I personally don't do it because I like to write and I want it to sound exactly like how I talk. But if I were to write a caption, an email, or anything more formal, then I check it to check my grammar and to just clean up the sentence structure a bit. For a lot of people, the next stage might be the most fun, and that is filming. Filming is fun because it might be the first time you feel you're actually doing something. Sure, coming up with an idea and scripting is also doing something, but because we haven't seen necessarily the finished result, it doesn't feel complete. Filming gives us instant gratification because we are seeing the result right after it's done, and if done right, it's something we feel proud about. Now, the next stage is where it's starting to get tricky. I'm a professional video editor, so to me, this might be my favorite part. But for a lot of people, this is where their head starts spinning. I think the reason why some people don't like video editing is because the options are endless. And if you haven't practiced it enough, it gets very overwhelming. Honestly, the way to fix this is like anything, it's just repetition and practice. The more you do something, the easier it becomes to make a decision because you've done it so much, you know what works and what doesn't. The editing process is also where you really have to put your creative hat on and decide the direction of your film. The way a video is edited makes all the difference in the world. I'm in charge of the pace, the mood, the order, and because I'm a solo filmmaker, I'm also in charge of color grading, sound design, and putting the video together for the final finish, which leads me to the topic of this video. I'm just gonna say it. The reason why you're struggling with creating content is because you have a perfectionist mindset. Perfectionism appears when you think more than taking action, when you can't decide whether it's good or bad, and when you can't finish your projects because you tell yourself there's always something you can improve. Of course, your videos can always improve, but let's save that for the next one and let's finish the one that you have started. If you only finish the videos that are absolutely perfect, then you haven't finished a lot of videos. You've already invested time in coming up with the idea, scripting, filming, and started to edit, so why give up when you're this close? The problem that occurs is that your idea and expectations for this project might not match completely with what you end up creating, so you don't end up finishing the project or never posting it. Even if you don't like it, you don't know what others might think. The project you are embarrassed over might be the project people obsess over. Now, I'm not saying you should post something you absolutely hate. I do think it's important that we showcase the projects that we actually are proud of and that align with who we are. But if the video is absolutely terrible, I probably wouldn't post it, and you should probably improve your filmmaking skills. Let's say you come up with an idea, you start scripting, but as you're doing it, you realize that this might not be the best idea after all. In this stage, I think it's okay to not finish it, because if you can't write about it, the idea was probably not good to begin with. Listen, I'm not going to pretend I'm almighty and always finish the project I start. This is something I struggle with, and most of my creative friends also do. For the first time in a decade, I've started seeing some success. Thank you for that. And what I've discovered is that I actually do the things I tell myself I want to do. I told myself I wanted to upload a video a week, and I've done that. I wish you guys could see all the technical mistakes that happen when I film my videos. My battery just died, and then I realized that my audio cord wasn't plugged in, so I had to reshoot twice. I take my time to come up with a really great idea, because if it's great, then the rest will follow. Once I do, scripting comes natural because the topic of the video is that good. Although this video might look supernatural, the truth is I have to force myself to film my videos. It means I need to get dressed and set up my camera, and sometimes I'm lazy and I don't want to do that. If my project makes it to the final stage, which is editing, I have a rule with myself to finish it because my intuition has already gotten me this far. The thing is, the video does not have to be perfect. It doesn't even have to be exactly what I envision it to be. It just needs to be something I genuinely like watching and something I think others can get value from. There's a whole debate about what I'm about to mention, but I actually think quantity is better than quality. If you want to grow as a creator and grow your following, then it's all about repetition. You need to constantly improve so that you can learn from your mistakes and know what to improve for next time. Even though you might create a better video if you spend more time on it to really perfect it, eventually this flow of creating will stop because you will not be able to meet your expectations every time, and because you're simply not creating enough. So let's make a promise here. Let's finish the projects we start, keep the promise you made to yourself, and just do it, man. Once you finish a project, you are done. You have closure and you can move on to the next thing. But if you never finish your project, you will always be wondering whether you should finish that specific project or if you should start a new one. And that was pretty much it. If you made it to this part of the video, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. It means a lot when you actually watch my entire video. And yeah, until next time.